I've received a lot of complaints about my opinions on flinch in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I've seen a lot of people tell me that the lack of flinch makes the game not only less random, but more skill-based. And I just simply can't agree with this. There are so many reasons why, but of course none of this is 100%. Flinch has its upsides and downsides, no flinch has its upsides and downsides, and we're going to try to be fair in this video. Just know that my bias does lean towards one side here. I think Call of Duty games should have a little bit of vertical, sort of diagonal flinch. So your sights, I think, should kick up into the left or right depending on how you're shot, and I think that's a fair thing to ask for. That's my personal opinion. But in this video, we're going to be talking about burst rifles, DMRs, stem shots, armor, and how Cold War's lack of flinch and high headshot multiplier, plus its longer time to kill, equals a very random feeling style of gunplay. Now, I believe flinch to be sort of like the mini-map in some cases. When Modern Warfare launched, and I was essentially lobbying for a normal mini-map that shows unsuppressed weapon fire without a UAV active, I wanted that, and a lot of people said that that was for noobs. A lot of people said that that was for bad kids that can't, use the skills of situational awareness or whatever. And I disagreed with that. And the reason I disagreed with that was because I figured that the minimap was both a really great tool and a really scary adversary. So essentially, it was either your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you're playing and how you're building your class. And I think that's a nice, fair constant to have, and if you don't like that constant, then I would recommend playing hardcore mode or realism mode or some other mode that doesn't have that minimap. But I think in core mode, it was a really integral part of balance. And I think if Modern Warfare would have had that minimap, people would have been more active and people would have played a little bit more dynamically and a little less conservatively. People would have to take trade-offs in order to hide from the minimap. I also think Dead Silence should have been a perk, and that the Ghost perk should have been movement based, like Black Ops 2s are now Cold Wars, where you have to move to activate the hiding aspect. Anyway, what I'm saying is, this is not a digression, what I'm saying is it depends, right? And the same thing goes to flinch. Flinch depends on how you play, whether or not it's going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. So I think if you're really good at shooting first, flinch is a very valuable tool. If you're a slower player, then flinch can really fuck you up. There is that element of randomness that needs to be brought up here, and that is that if somebody's using a weapon that does considerable more damage to the head, whether it's because they have high caliber on there, or the weapon just does increased headshot damage because it's a weird variant in Infinite Warfare, or whatever the reason might be. It might be a DMR like the SKS in Modern Warfare. If they're aiming at your upper chest, which is where most people should be aiming, because it's a wide target and you get good body multipliers in most COD games, and you shoot that person, their iron sight's now going to kick up, of course, to your head. So they're aiming at you, you're squared up with them, they're about to shoot you, and you shoot them and it kicks their sight up to your head and you get immediately deleted off the map, and that sucks. I am fully aware that that is bullshit. So yeah, there's bad sides to flinch. The lack of flinch, however, has its own downside, so fighting multiple opponents where you can't knock their sights off target is kind of difficult. And to make up for that lack of flinch when fighting multiple opponents, people are going to be doing a lot of concussion and flashbang spam. They're also going to be using cover and head glitches and trying to make sure that less of their body is visible. They're going to be using a lot of escape routes. So you're going to, they're going to shoot at you and your friends, and then they're going to probably duck around cover, use a stem shot, and come right back. Or they're just going to be having to jump shot, drop shot, crouch spam. Bunny hopping in close range in Cold War is actually a very decent strategy to do if they're in like point blank range. So we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of equipment usage when you're, put up against multiple opponents. When my buddy Jake and I are playing, so those are my friends that are currently playing Cold War with me, and when we're playing, I feel like every time I'm in close proximity to them and an enemy sees us but can't get a clear line of sight on us or doesn't feel confident, they immediately just concussion and nade spam us because they don't want to have to fight multiple opponents. And one of the reasons is that if you start shooting me and you're killing me, like I'm basically going to lose the gunfight, and then my friend notices me dying and starts to acquire you as a target, after you've killed me, okay, and you start going to shoot my friend, you can't knock my friend's sight off target. And he's already acquired you. He's already been aiming at you because you were busy shooting me. So because of this longer time to kill, you're gonna have to be more persistently accurate on me, and then you're gonna have to move your sight over and start shooting at somebody that you can't flinch off target. So good goddamn luck fighting multiple opponents unless you have cover, you're jump shotting, drop shotting, crouch spamming like a madman, because the longer time to kill in Black Ops 4 was already heavily criticized because of fighting multiple opponents. Now you can't even make them flinch even when you get the drop on them. But most of the gunfights I'm referring to are gunfights where you and an enemy see each other at roughly the same time and start shooting at each other at roughly the same time. That's usually where these gunfights fall apart. And this is where I start to describe them as random. Because if somebody's using a higher DPS weapon, you're just likely going to lose. And if your argument is that I need to aim for the head, I have two answers. One, why should I? And two, no. So the first answer is because why would I aim for the head when I can just let vertical recoil, my jump shot, or a change in elevation, using a staircase or a hill to sort of give myself an advantage shooting somebody's head. For instance, if somebody's coming up a hill, you're going to see their head before the rest of their body, and you can start shooting them in the noggin before you see the rest of their body. It's not too hard. Because obviously they can't see all of you yet, but you're seeing the top of their head if you have that elevation right. If you're fighting somebody that has bad centering, then they can go to hell. Also, hip firing in close range, you're gonna get random headshot hit markers anyway, so that's not bad either. The headshot multiplier is good, then awesome, because you're just gonna hip fire towards somebody's upper body. And I remember back when Black Ops 2 had come out, like even back then, YouTubers like T Martin, Allier, and Drifter were saying if you want easy headshots, run a laser sight and just hip fire towards somebody's upper chest and head, and you're likely to get some good headshots in there. And it was a pretty universally used method, and that's going to be even more powerful here. And if you're wondering why my second answer is no, it's because in close range engagements, when an enemy is already starting to shoot at me and I'm starting to shoot at them, I'm not going to try to aim at the tiniest part of their body, because then I have no room for error, all right? Because that means as soon as they crouch or jump, my sight is almost nowhere near where it should be. So you want to aim for the center of mass in those really quick draw gunfights. You cannot all the time consistently go for the head. Mouse and keyboard, controller, it doesn't matter. If you're already being shot, again, you win this, this is one of those quick draw, we're both shooting at each other gunfights. I'm not going for the smaller target. I'm gonna try to track your body. If I have good centering, I should be able to shoot you in your middle torso or upper chest with good ease. And if I can't do that, then I'm likely gonna lose the gunfight in any Call of Duty game. But in this game, if I'm shooting your upper chest and your gun kicks up to my head because of recoil, changes in elevation because you jump shotted, or maybe you're hip firing in closer range, then great, I lose the gunfight and it feels like I got a lot of hit markers before I died. And it really aids in this feeling of I shoot first and die first. And this is really bad against stationary opponents using DMR, sniper rifles, or LMGs, weapons that kill considerably quick. In Call of Duty games, if that person's using cover and they're locking down a line of sight and you see them, you start shooting them, you can't wedge them off target. Now it's great if you're able to shoot them in the head and you're able to melt them that way, but let's be realistic. Are you really so good at Call of Duty that when you see a head glitcher, you're just so laser pinpoint accurate you can just zero onto that person's head and put consecutive shots into it? No. No, if you're around a corner and you see a tiny little target and they can see all of your body, because let's face it, if you can see a head glitcher's head, they can likely see all of your body or most of your body, depending on how much cover you have as well. But God, if you have an SMG or if you have an AR or something that doesn't do a lot of damage, you can't flinch them off target and make them back off. They're going to absorb your bullets and kill you. And if they absorb your bullets but they feel like they still can't win the gunfight for whatever reason, this is where stem and armor gets in the way. I think a lot of people are going to start running armor just to be jackasses, and if they use the assault pack and the assassin perk, they can get that armor pretty quickly. I know it has a fairly long cooldown, but it's still a support score streak that you don't need to stay alive for, so I feel like we're going to start seeing that more and more as people decide to be more and more shitty. Stem shots and armor add randomness, and this is why I said in my video, if you want to be persistent and consistent in close range, start fighting somebody, and then when they start damaging you, just go ahead and get behind a little piece of cover, a little pole or a box or something, and stem and then go right back into combat. They won't expect you to be at full health or near full health. Or if you're sniping somebody and somebody hit markers you at a distance during a sniper duel, go behind cover or prone really fast, stim, stand back up, and take the shot. They're not going to expect you to have full health, and they might not be aiming for your upper chest or head because they think, okay, well, I've already injured this guy less than 4 seconds ago. This is what's making these gunfights inconsistent. Okay, so you have recoil, changes in elevation, random hipfire spread that are going to give people a lot of easy, fast kills with the headshot multiplier that they didn't necessarily earn or have any, real skill involved. They just were able to kill quickly because that's the nature of the thing that they're using. And I think it's a little bit disingenuous to say that, like, okay, well, flinch adds randomness and this new system's better, when the headshot multiplier negates that. So if you're against the randomness of flinch, you should be against these high headshot multipliers in a game where weapons can kick vertically upwards. And of course it's Call of Duty. Like, it's not Halo, where you want to, like, center your reticle on somebody's head and consistently pop their head with a Magnum, DMR, or burst rifle. You know, this is not that. This is, okay, a headshot multiplier being high does not immediately mean high skill. There's lots of variables to take into account here. So I think we have a new form of randomness that's going to be far more persistently occurring than what Flinch was creating. Flinch created a system where everybody's bullets packed more punch, all right? So when you flanked enemies, you started putting damage into them, you had an advantage because you were putting damage into them. When you shot first in those quick draw gunfights, you were given an advantage because of your faster reaction time. Like I said in a previous video very recently, is that the longer time to kill, combined with no flinch and high headshot multiplier, you're really not as punished for being slow. You are really going to be punished for not using a fast killing weapon. So people don't have to be fast to beat you. I think they're really just going to run high damage per second or just high damage in general weapons that don't require as much time to kill. Because if you fight somebody that's faster than you but has a lower DPS weapon and isn't capable in that moment of going for a headshot, and you start shooting, roughly like right after their first shot lands, you start shooting with a higher DPS, faster killing weapon, that person's screwed. I'm really scared to fight somebody using a fully like sprint out speed, kitted out, burst rifle, DMR. You know, we're already seeing this with shotguns. We're seeing this with shotguns where people are running these secondary shotguns because in close range, they don't want to have to play bullet sponge. They want to get into your face and pop you with a shotgun as fast as possible. Where I'm seeing a lot of my favorite YouTubers run shotguns as their secondaries and switch to them consistently in close range because they don't want to have this sort of duke it out gunfight. When you get into that close range engagement, they just want to subvert it with a shotgun. They just want to spray pellets at you. And that's going to be very frustrating as people more and more adopt that meta. I'll end this video by talking about burst rifles real fast. So burst rifles are really scary in this regard because a burst rifle sends 3 rounds at a very rapid rate of fire, right? And so if somebody has their M16's iron sights or AUG's sights on you and they pull the trigger as you're shooting them, you have not thrown their burst off at all. Their burst is landing into you. You can't avoid it. They don't need to hold the trigger and land consecutive hits, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like really fast, and you're not knocking that sight off target. So if your rifle needs 4 shots to kill or 5 shots to kill, what are you gonna do? How do you deal with somebody that needs 1 burst to your upper chest? What are you gonna do in that engagement? And if that person has more cover than you, what are you gonna do in that engagement? Because you shooting first won't fucking matter. So my tip to you, like I said in my last video, is stay moving. Jump shot, drop shot as much as possible. Slide around corners, be as fast as possible. Make your head hard to hit and just try to use whatever weapon kills the fastest. That's going to be the meta. So whether that's a shotgun or a launcher or a burst rifle, doesn't matter. Your bullets are packing less punch. So you might as well take advantage of that and use whatever gun puts out more bullets. And when you start getting shot, you can really throw people off in this game by just remaining confident. You know, do a little bit of left and right strafing to kind of throw their aim off a little bit, but for the most part, just stand your ground. Use a higher DPS weapon, use the SKS, use the M14, use the M16, use the AUG, use an LMG. Stand your ground and mow them down. This is the problem without flinch, is because when somebody sees a sniper glint in the distance and they get hit markers on that person, they still get sniped. When you round a corner, you see somebody, you know, camping with an LMG, you start getting hit markers, you still get mowed down because their gun kills faster than you. So you're done. And you cannot knock that person off target. If you flank 3 people and you start shooting them in the back, you're not really throwing their sights off, so all they need to do is turn around and smoke your ass. They have the advantage and you have to take too long per target to take on 3 people. So, use concussions, use cover. You're gonna wanna do a lot of equipment usage here. And this is the issue with flinch, as I see it. This is all my opinion. I'm not trying to lay this out as fact. I believe it, but I'm not trying to lay this out as perfect fact. So I might do a podcast episode, an episode of the Boomcast, where I go on Discord and basically do a prove me wrong, you know, change my mind type of deal, where you guys can come in and like argue with me about why the Cold War gunplay is fine and why I'm bad at it and why I don't like it is wrong, and we can talk about that. I would look forward to that because this is an interesting topic for me as a content creator. As a player of the game, I'm really annoyed, but as a content creator, I'm thrilled. This is new. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Even if you disagreed with it, I really appreciate it. Go ahead and like the video or dislike it, I don't really care. But if you want to subscribe, hit the bell icon to follow me and watch when I go live. I stream on this channel a lot. Also, there's lots of links in the description that help support the channel. And yeah, see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.